All right, today we are going to be looking at Chapter 5, Lesson 2, and we're going to be looking at how to model division of decimals by a whole number. So we are going to be using the same tools that we've been using for modeling decimals throughout the year, and we're just going to use them to help us to understand how we can divide decimals. So here we have a story problem, and it says that Angela has enough wood to make a picture frame with a perimeter of 2 and 4/10 meters. She wants the frame to be a square. What will be the length of each side of the frame? So first of all, we know that this is division because we know squares have equal sides. And so we end up with 2 and 4/10 divided by 4 because again, we also know that squares have 4 equal sides. So we're going to start this problem off by shading in our model to represent 2 and 4/10, right? So I'm going to shade in 1/10, 2, 3, right? This entire thing here is going to be shaded in because we know that each of these boxes represents 1. So we have 1. This is where we're going to shade in number 2. This is taking forever, it seems like today. And then, of course, over here, we don't have a full one. We're going to just shade in the 1, 2, 3/4, right? So here is our 1 shaded in, our 2, and then we have our 4/10 in our last box. What we're going to do now is we are going to group these tenths into 4 equal groups, right? So let's get rid of that calligraphy pen and let's get a normal pen. So we have to figure out how do we group together all of this into 4 different groups. We'd start off, right, by looking at the ones, but we only have 2 ones. So we can't just put 1 in each of our groups. But hopefully what we can see here is that each of our ones is made up of 10 tenths, right? And so if we think about this, we know that this first one, this is 10 tenths, and this is another 10 tenths. So 10 plus 10 is 20. And then over here we have 4/10. So really we have 20 plus 4, which is 24 tenths, right? So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So if we have 24 tenths and we want to put them into 4 equal groups, well, 4 times 6 is 24. So I think that we can just group these together into groups of 6, right? So let's try it. So this is 6/10. Here we have 4. We'll grab 2 out of this next one, right? So that's another 6/10. Let's see, here are 6 more tenths. We have 2 left here and 4 over here, which is another 6/10. So we end up with 4 groups, and each group has a value of 6/10. So the answer then to 2 and 4/10 divided by 4 is in fact 6/10. So let's look at that idea here again, right? This one they've already gone ahead and they've broken up the model, right? So each of these units inside of here is equal to 1/10. The problem is 1 and 6/10 divided by 4. We see that they've drawn 4 circles, right? Because we're dividing by 4, right? That's why we have 4 of these. And then if we count up all of the tenths that are in there, we should get 1 and 6/10. So 4 plus 4 is 8, right? And then 8 plus 2 more, that gives us our 1. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 left over, right? So the pieces that make up our model have to be equal to our divide end. So we have 1 and 6/10 divided by 4. So now all we need to do is look at each of our groups and it will give us our answer. Well, in each of our groups here, we have 4/10. Okay, so we're going to look at this next problem, and we're going to take those quick explanations, and we're going to look at it a little bit more in depth. So here our problem is 1 and 8/10 divided by 3. So the first thing I did is I built my model. This is my 1, and then over here, these are my 8/10. So I've started off by building my model. The next thing I want to do is I want to look at my divisor, and I'm dividing by the number 3. So I want to take this and I'm going to draw 3 groups. So there's one group, here's group number 2, and then here is group number 3. And oh gosh, we've gotten all sorts of crazy. Here we are. So let's see if we can move this one down a little bit. All right, now I'm going to look at this. I'm going to say, well, I only have one, and I have 3 different groups. So I cannot put 1 in each group. But what I can do is I can break up this 1 into all of its parts, into all of its tenths, right? And we hopefully remember that 10/10 equal 1 whole. So after I break this 1 up into 10/10, I have 10/10 plus 8/10, which is 18/10. Now I just need to start sorting them into these 3 groups. And I bet you can figure out how many are going to go in each group, right? But I'm just going to go one at a time. So there's 1 and 1 and 1. Here we are with 2 and 2 and 2. Here's 3, 3, and 3. Here we are with number 4 in each of these groups. And here's a 4th one for this group. Now I go for 5, 5, and 5, and then now I have 3 left over, which is great because that means that I'm going to put 3 more tenths into each of these groups. So now all of the groups are even, right? I've distributed all of my 1 and 8/10 into those 3 groups. So now I just need to look at the groups, and I need to figure out how many tenths are there in each of these groups. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so the answer over here is that 1 and 8/10 divided by 3 is 6/10. Let's try another one here, see how this one goes. This one is a little bit more in depth because now we don't just have ones and tenths, we are also including some hundredths. So we're going to divide 4 and 72 hundredths by the number 4. Here I have my 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 7/10 and 2 hundredths. I'm going to get out my circles again, and I'm going to draw 4 circles. Let's see if I can do a little bit better job this time than I did last, right? So there's 1, there's 2, here's number 3, and number 4. That works out better. All right, now, luckily this time I have enough ones where that I can put a 1 into each of these groups. And I'm going to do something really quick because I learned on one of the last ones that if I don't bring all of these to the front, they end up hiding behind things that are on the page. All right, so we're back. So now I put 1, 1 in each of my groups, and I'm going to switch these two so it doesn't hide on me. And now I start to sort the tenths. Well, I have 7/10, so I have enough tenths to put 1/10 in each of these groups as well, right? And now I get down to this, and now I only have 3/10 left, but I have 4 groups, so I don't have enough tenths left. So I need to take these tenths and break them into their hundredths, right? And when I do this, I'm going to end up with 10/10 or 10 hundredths for each of these tenths, which means that I'm going to end up with 32 hundredths, right? And so if I think about that, I have 4 groups and I have 32 hundredths to put into each group. Hopefully you recognize that that means we are going to put 8 hundredths in each group. So I'm not going to go one at a time because that would take forever. But why don't I just do like 4 at a time, right? So I'm going to grab these 4. I'm going to put them in here. Let's see, I'll grab like these 4. And oh, I only got one that time, right? So let's grab 3 more. So I have 4 in that group. Let's grab these 4 and put them down here. Here are 4 more to go in there, right? So now each group has 4 hundredths, but I still have all of these hundredths left over here, right? So I have 16 more of them if I were to count them up. So let's grab 4 more and see if we have enough to put 4 in each group. I think that we should. So there's another group of 4 into there, and then we're going to put this group of 4 into here, and then there we are. We have 4 left that are going to go in there. So each of my groups is now equal, right? They're a little chaotic looking, but they're all the same. Now I just need to sort it out, and I just need to look at each group or one of the groups, right, and figure out how many units do I have in here. So I'm going to choose this one down here, and I have 1, 1, 1/10, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundredths. So that means that the answer to 4 72 hundredths divided by 4 is 1 and, remember we had 1/10 and 8 hundredths, so 1 and 18 hundredths. All right. The last one I want to look at is this one. And here it says that Theo made a model to represent a division statement. Which of these division statements do we see modeled over here? Well, when I look at this, right, they didn't draw circles, but they did sort everything into 3 nice, neat, and even little groups there. So I know that I'm dividing by 3, so it can't be C because C, the divisor, is 2. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, what's the answer, right? And remember, the answer is found by counting up all of the units in there. So we have 1, 1, we have 1/10, and we have 2 hundredths, right? So the answer is 1 and 12 hundredths. So D could be it, and A could be it, but B cannot be it. So now I need to figure out which one is it. Is it A or is it D? Well, to find it out what my divisor is, I need to count up all of these units, right? So here I have 1, 2, 3 ones, right? So the answer is we're dividing 3 and, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3/10, and then we have 2, 4, 6 hundredths. So my divisor here is 3 and 36 hundredths. It's divided by 3, and the answer is 1 and 12 hundredths. So it is not A, it is in fact D. D is my answer. All right, so that is lesson 5.2. Give it a try. And as always, if you have any questions along the way, let